That was totally righteous, dude.
Most excellent.
I miss doing intros. It's been a long time. In the before time, we actually saw each other in person. But now we can actually do intros again because I finally caught up to current technology. So yeah, we've been on a Bill and Ted binge the past couple days. With basically just kind of doing research on the third one yesterday, and then I just watched the second one earlier this afternoon because I'd never seen it before, and then immediately follow that up with watching the third one that just came out today. I'm gonna wait a day to upload this out of respect.
Literally right before we started this review, we found out about Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah, which that was a shadow overall this entire evening.
Yeah, that is still a freaking shock.
Yeah. Moment of silence for respect. Okay. So, on that note, we decided to lift our spirits by watching the new Bill and Ted movie, Bill and Ted Face the Music. I feel like for this one, we should talk about what we thought about the other two. The first one I saw, I want to say a few months back. I didn't grow up on these movies. These weren't the movies that my parents would show me when I was a kid. Can't imagine why. So I didn't watch it less than a year ago, and I actually really liked the first one a lot.
Yeah, same here.
As silly as it is, you and I and Jasmine are kind of talking about, there's kind of an honest, self-aware sincerity to it that you just kind of have to appreciate. And it has a brand of silliness that it just, despite itself, knows how to make it work.
Yeah. And it is amazing what that honesty can do, that honesty and charm can do, and going a long way, because it definitely felt like this movie kind of returned to that first movie's charm for sure.
It definitely borrowed elements from both.
Yeah, and I felt because I mentioned to you earlier how with the second movie, I felt like it went. I'm not sure why it felt like the absurdism didn't quite work in the second movie, but I felt like they
a lot in the second movie.
Yeah.
Once Death shows up, it kind of finds.
Yeah. I will agree with that, because the freaking challenge into the game scene is I was so happy.
It's an amazing sequence, and everything after that, it's okay, this is where it kind of found its groove.
Yeah.
And this is where it kind of makes the surreal Tim Burton-esque visuals kind of work for it.
Yeah.
Well, Tim Burton makes Guillermo del Toro.
Yeah.
I kind of like that the sequel kind of dipped into the surreal, and it just didn't do just the first plot again.
Yeah, which was definitely appreciated. This one, like you mentioned, was kind of a mix of both, and I think it found that really good balance of how to make them all work.
It did, and it did it without it rhymes with the beats of the last two movies without just simply replicating it.
Yeah,
which I really appreciated. Mostly through in this movie, for those who don't know, this movie takes place 20 years after the second one, I want to say.
25 years.
Yeah, 25 years, and now they have two full-grown daughters. One is played by Samara Weaving, and the other one is played by an actress who I know I've seen somewhere, but I can't place it.
Bridget Lundy Payne. I think I mentioned she was in Downsizing, and also Bombshell.
And I did not see Bombshell, so I don't know.
And and also Atypical, which I believe you had trouble. I believe you had problems with that show. That was a different one.
No, Atypical is the one, because that's the one where hey, you know how autism is this really kind of complex disease, and not necessarily disease. Sorry, poor choice of words. Mental disorder. That is very complicated. There's still a lot we don't know about it. It affects people in very, very, very different ways. We're going to play it flat to the way every other TV show is played up there, because autism just means Asperger's, really, right? That's what it actually means. Oh, and it's a superpower. Sorry, I can go on about fucking hated Atypical. I never even watched an episode. I watched a bit of it. I was done. It's Like, it's not a fucking superpower, guys. But anyway, atypical aside.
Yeah.
So yeah, this one I just want to talk just before we get into the actual nitty gritty of the story and all that. I just have to give credit where credit is due. First of all, I loved this movie. I had such a great goddamn time with this. I loved this from beginning to end. I had such a great time. I honestly have next to no issues with this movie. Like, as a sequel to a movie that should not have gotten a sequel, it has no right to be as good as it is.
Yeah. Like, I'm not going to say this is some masterpiece of cinema, but
I'm not saying that
it is a consistently fun ride. It does stupid well.
It knows exactly what it wants to be. It knows exactly how it wants to do it, and it executes it a concept like this as perfect as it really can be.
Yeah.
It may not be a masterpiece of like cinema, but it might be a masterpiece of the stupid comedy genre.
Yeah. Yeah. It also helps that like Winter and Reeves just like slip back this role so well, so easily, and it was a joy to see them just be Bill and Ted again.
Yeah, like it didn't feel like in like Dumb and Dumber 3 or whatever, or 2, whatever, where they just they feel like they're just trying to redo it over again, but they don't really know what they're doing. They have no interest in it. This one feels like everyone that is here wants to be here, and they just love doing this.
Yeah.
And there's something about that just boundless. I think it's really like that boundless optimism that kind of comes with it. That is really infectious.
And oh my god, I think my favorite character might have been Dennis Caleb McCoy.
Yes, I don't really know if I want to say anything about that yet, because that involves a big spoiler that happens about halfway through this movie. But yeah, so the basic concept is Bill and Ted are kind of washed up has-beens who have not made the song that's supposed to unite the world and apparently save all of reality. And then they get a call from the future basically saying, like, hey, you guys are fucking this up. You need to get your shit together because we're on the clock now. So they decide to steal a song from their future selves, and then they keep running into their future self, and it keeps going terribly.
Yeah, because they see you just see how they get more and more washed up over time, and it is kind of great.
And it comes with all the shenanigans you expect from Bill and Ted movie. Eventually, the daughters decide to help out, so they start time traveling and kind of rhyming with the first movie, except I guess it's like a generational story in that way.
Yeah.
Because they start having the exact same adventures their parents did, except in their own way, which kind of ties into how the film eventually ends. And that's a lot of fun to watch. I was kind of a little disappointed Mozart, spoiler, wasn't played by the guy who played him in Amadeus. I thought that would have been great.
He probably would have been too old for him.
Probably would have, but still would have been fun.
Yeah, and oh god, what else? Yeah, because they go through finding all these historical music figures instead of just random people in history in general.
Yeah,
within the first movie, and for some reason, Kid Cudi shows up, and he is a quantum theorist.
Yeah, why not?
This, I will say, was a bit of a complaint. Not the concept was great. His delivery,
I thought it was fine.
He was pretty great. He's not an actor, so his acting is going to be a little flat.
I mean, compare that with kind of everyone else in this movie, though.
Yeah, but for him, it stood out because everyone else, as I mentioned, there's a big difference between being flat and deadpan. Deadpan, there's a certain how you're not doing the delivery, whereas flat, it feels like they're attempting to act, but it's it's not really coming through, and that was kind of the vibe I got from Kid Cudi.
I didn't get that personally. It didn't really bother me.
Yeah.
So maybe just I don't know. It personally didn't rub me that way. I thought it fit perfectly fine, all things considered. He's not a huge part of the movie, so it's more okay, yeah.
And that's why it's not a huge ding. It's just he's there for a few minutes, sprinkled throughout here and there. God, who else? They had another couple of actors that surprised me. Remember they had one of the guys from Luke Cage in there as
By the way, I think it's fair to say from this point on we're going to go into spoiler territory.
Yeah.
So if you don't want any of this spoiled for you, stop watching now. But I highly recommend this movie. This might be in my top 10. Like I said, I enjoy movies that just imbue just pure positivity in such a way that doesn't feel tacky or forced or disingenuous.
Yeah.
And
this, it's like, effort. My God, we missed you.
yeah, it's more like the people who made this clearly cared. Everyone involved wanted to be there. Everyone was giving it their 110% to like recapture the silliness of the originals while still finding its own unique voice to it. Which ironically kind of goes in the main theme of the movie. Now I think about it. Oh my God, is this movie a meta commentary on these kind of remakes?
Could be. It feels like it was definitely trying to take the Creed approach.
In a way, because the more I think about it, we look at it from like I maybe we're reading way too deep into this, but the more I think about it, the more I was like, wait a minute. So it's about two washed up old characters that nobody's cared about in years. They want to become relevant again, so they go back to the past when everyone thought they were good, or they go to the future, figure out like what's the key to being good again. Find out they can't fucking do it until. I'm gonna brush this theory later, but I think I'm onto something.
Yeah. That sounds. I think that sounds pretty accurate. A descriptor of like, I think this movie probably was being a little meta on things.
Yeah, and then eventually ends with saying we can't recreate the magic, so we have to let the new voices take over.
Yeah.
Or like better yet, it's like we can't do it just by copying the old thing. We have to do something new.
Yeah.
Or do something different that's still like. That is still part of us, but it's not all of us, if that makes sense.
I don't know. How the hell did I miss that?
Yeah, to be fair, I just realized it just now. It's like, oh, son of a bitch, this is totally a meta commentary movie.
Yeah. And you know, of
works.
course, also,
it fucking works.
Yeah.
And again, it's one of those. It's kind of like the same reason I love the Muppets, the Jason Segel movie.
Yeah. And 21 Jump Street.
Yeah, plus 21 Jump Street, because 21 Jump Street.
I mean, I meant more like why I like that one.
21 Jump Street kind of relies still on that bit more of like sex and drugs and violence comedy, which I don't.
Oh, sorry, you meant like the pure. Gotcha.
Like pure, sincere, in love with the material, that kind of thing.
Paddington. There we go.
Paddington's a much better example. Because Paddington 2 is goddamn delightful.
Still need to watch those movies too.
Oh, dude. Like, if you just want to just be happy for an hour and a half. And honestly, the second one does kind of have, like, Hugh Grant's best performance in fucking years. I want to watch Paddington 2 again, fuck.
Yeah. The funny thing is, like, one of the weird things about this movie is, like, I don't really remember most of the jokes. I just remember, like, really enjoying it.
You remember the feeling it gave you, and that's kind of a sign of, like, just a movie that really does its job well.
Yeah.
It doesn't even matter if, like, the writing's particularly great or not. You just are so, it has the tone down. It has the feelings down. It has the emotions down. It knows what it wants to be, and it knows how to execute that. And it knows it doesn't have to be self-referentially clever about it. Although it still does that too.
Yeah.
But it's more just like it comes through the sincerity. It comes from the fact that it's positive. It's positive in an appropriate way for this kind of franchise.
Right.
Now I feel like I'm just repeating myself, but yeah.
That's fine. I mean, like, I'm trying to think what I do remember. Like, the things that I do remember for sure, like, where, as I mentioned, the Dennis Caleb guy.
Dennis, I remember the scenes with Death.
Death was great seeing William Sadler back to reprising Death again.
Yep. Prison scene. The scene in the garage. Let's give a big spoiler, so I'm not going to say it here yet. The scene that followed that.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a movie I would definitely want to revisit. So, like, yeah. Should we go into spoilers from here on out?
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about Dennis.
So, Dennis Caleb, what was it? I keep forgetting his last name. McCoy, is a robot sent from the future to basically kill Bill and Ted. So they have a little Terminator thing. But at some point, while the daughters are out going out trying to grab everyone, they show back up their home, and they get lasered, quote unquote. And the reactions from this robot are freaking priceless because like he's constantly saying like weird quotes like not excellent or not cool, and then after that it's just like oh no.
Like it's like a robot, like you would expect a robot to act up till the accidentally kills the daughters and the entire band they collected up to this point in the movie.
Yeah, and then he goes to kill Bill and Ted. He's like, wait, you can't kill us. We have the music.
Because the future people think that if they kill Bill and Ted, that will also trigger like the thing that will unite the world.
Yeah, because they're basically like they're not sure about what the best thing to do is. Okay, that's probably more meta commentary about whether they should let something just
die or
let die
you out of it. Yeah.
Oh man, this movie is actually pretty smart on this whole thing.
Right? Yeah. Like the more you think about it.
Yeah. So they visit like their super future selves, like are basically like super old and about to die.
And they get the music that they recorded that the day they supposedly saved the universe or the reality and all that.
Yeah.
And then the robot comes back up to kill him as they're about to leave. And then he goes like, you don't have to kill us. We got the music. And the robot just goes, oh no, we're made.
Yeah. No, because it does like the robotic oh no. Oh, okay. and then it's just like, it's like, yeah, they just goes to, mistakes were made. Yeah. Like this really dorky like this kind of voice. I may have lasered your daughters. You lasered our daughters. It's like
must expunge guilt.
Yeah.
Or something
like expiating guilt. It's like, well, now you have to, all right, we've got to go to hell, so you got to kill us now. I can't take a human life.
Life.
He tries to blast himself.
And then from there becomes more sentient once he gets to hell. And then he runs into the daughter of George Carlin's character from the first movie, who's the one that came back to get Bill and Ted for this movie. And then he comes up to her and is like, I'm Dennis. And then she's on the phone with his mom because I guess you can call people in hell. And she's like, you named him Dennis after my ex.
After my ex. Yeah. He's like, so the guy for those of you, I can't remember the actor's name. I just remember that he was Victor Zsasz in Gotham, and he was in another like DC show. I think he might have been a Luke Cage actually. Now that I think about it, for an episode,
he was in Flash.
The Flash, that's what it was.
Yep.
But yeah, he was like I think one of the other weather wizards or something like that. He was something Nimbus.
Yeah, Kyle Nimbus. He was the Mist.
The Mist. There we go. But yeah, there's some part where it's just like he's trying to do something like, "Hi, I'm Dennis." Like, no, go away. And other times like, it's like, is it hard to rock out with a tambourine? I can dance. Can I dance?
You can dance over there. We have to go, Dennis, but I want to dance. Oh, it's one of those weird things that should not work, and yet it just does, and you can't explain why.
Yeah, it's like when you see it, it's just it all clicks together so well.
Yeah, just like it says on the watch, dude. It doesn't make sense until the story ends.
Which that was another weird little thing I will say. It's like this is not a huge knock. This is just a nitpick. Was it felt like the movie ended kind of abruptly.
Yeah, but I would say to that the last one kind of did too.
Although at that point that was like, it felt like what happened in the end credits were like the after all the problem has been solved. Or is this like problem solved end?
It didn't bother. I get what you're saying. Like to an extent, I agree, but it didn't really bother me.
Yeah, and like I said, it's a nitpick.
Because at this point, it's like, yeah, I guess the problem is solved. All right.
Yeah, it's
maybe it's better you don't know what happens after. You can kind of create whatever like alternate future you want out of it.
Yeah, it was like let's give a 5-second recap of what the lesson is. Credits roll. It's like, so yeah, we play the music, and it wasn't really the song that did it. It was everybody playing together that fixed everything. Da 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 da.
And it's like, yeah, cool. I'm personally okay with that. Like, let people create whatever ending they want out of it. Yeah, I think it's a lot of fun.
And I think, that is a fair lesson when it comes to all these things. Like, sometimes it's not about, something being awesome. It's about just sharing that experience with people. And I think that's also about the whole sharing, just like the legacy of Bill and Ted, with everyone and bringing it to a new audience. So like young and old can enjoy it all together.
That's not going to happen as long as Twitter exists. Get one person going, you're enjoying it wrong. You don't enjoy it the way I should enjoy it. Twitter is one of the few places where I see people argue about things they agree on for different reasons.
Oh yeah, like that thing you posted about YouTube comments about on one of your channels, how you made them realize, so you do agree with me.
Oh yeah,
I guess I do.
Like someone tried to come at me. For those who are wondering what the hell I'm talking about, you can still read the comments. I left it there because it was a great opportunity. Of like, see, I can get someone to admit they're wrong at some point. Someone who like follows like Donald Trump's YouTube page, because I was curious, I looked, like tried to make the argument that said, it's weird you say Superman is fascist because of that one episode of Justice League, where it has to fight the evil Justice League, because they were too politically correct. And like, no, I know exactly what you're talking about. They were fascists.
Because that was the alternate future one, right? Where like
the Justice Lords.
Yeah, where spoiler alert, Lex Luthor doesn't make it out at the end of that one.
Yep, and so I was like, no, they killed people. They weren't overly politically correct. They were fascists. They lobotomized their enemies. Like that's a thing that happened. And then it goes back and forth for a little bit like that, and I was like, okay, so you're agreeing with me that they're fascists. Fascism and political wokeness are not the same thing. I don't think you know what political correctness means. And then at one point, I just got him to say, like, okay, what are you trying to so you're agreeing with me they're fascists. Like, are you admitting you don't know what you're talking about? And he goes like, what do you think I'm talking about? There's no political correctness in fascism. I'm like, so you admit that the Justice Lords are fascists. You agree with that, and you say that fascism isn't politically correct. Therefore, the Justice Lords were never politically correct at all. So your entire argument is moot. Long pause to response comment. You win.
Yeah, he just said, I was wrong.
No, you literally just said, you win.
Yeah, right. All right, that's what it was, because that was the quote.
Oh, God, that was stupid.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Twitter is a dumpster fire.
It's a hellhole. It's a hellhole. Like,
I don't know why I go there anymore.
I have to go there for promotion purposes, but most of the time you can hear like two people who like the same movie going like, I like this movie, me too! That's how an argument starts. Anyway, that's too cynical for this movie. This one, like, I don't know how realistic the message is, but it's not supposed to be. It's all idealistic. That's the entire franchise, really, in a nutshell.
Yeah, it's about achieving utopia.
It thrives on like this, almost like a wide-eyed, optimistic idealism, in a way that's endearing, and it's certainly not going to solve any of the world's issues, but it does make you believe for a minute that it might be possible one day after we're all dead.
And I think the fact that like the characters are kind of idiots, well, not kind of are, definitely helps lend to that, credence and like that authenticity. Because like, yes, there is some naivete to achieving this utopia, but it's like, when you see someone like genuinely believe in it, like wholeheartedly, with like no sense of without having a mean-spirited bone in their body about it.
Yeah, like there's no hate in their heart. They're just fully accepting. And you have to appreciate that. And you kind of hope, maybe that's the secret. Maybe we all just need to be really dumb. No, it's a terrible idea. That's how we got the current government. Anyway. I'm sorry. I'm trying not to put my cynicism into this, and I keep doing it. Because and that's why I appreciate movies like this, though, is because they take me out of my cynicism for a bit in a time where it's really hard not to be cynical.
Yeah,
it was the worst year in our lifetimes.
Yeah, it was nice to escape for an hour and a half.
Yeah, And I appreciate that, again, as much as like some project like The Last of Us Part 2 came out at the worst possible time, I feel like
I
this
am
like came out like the best possible time it could have.
I am still shocked at Neil Druckmann is a freaking future wizard. Because one of the levels is Capitol Hill in Seattle, where there's evidence of an anti-fascist group rebelling against the government during a quarantine. I was just like, how could you have predicted this?
I want to go up to like Shirley for Community, like, you tell me now what's gonna happen, you evil wizard.
I just think that Beatles bit in Family Guy, just the Ringo. Are you from the future? That's right, and I outlived two of you, but I won't tell you which ones unless you make my song about the octopus.
That's how to use chaotic energy with time travel.
Yeah.
Like, I was reading a book about Bill Murray.
God, what else was funny?
Because like going back to kind of optimism though, funny. I was reading a book about like the Bill Murray recently, and I was like, huh, Bill Murray's basically just Tom Hanks with chaos energy. Because you hear these great stories, like one of my favorite ones. I know it's a complete tangent, by the way, guys. We'll get back to on topic in a second. Can you hear me okay? Hello?
I can hear you, yeah. I'm not sure if the internet's bad on my end or bad on your end, or maybe to call me
for a second there. But yeah, anyways, I was saying, like, so Bill Murray's basically Tom Hanks with chaos energy is the conclusion I came to. And they had this great story in there. Like, apparently he wandered into like this office building one time. He was working with somebody there. And he walked in this random woman's office, and she said, "Do you want popcorn?" It's like, "Sure." It's like, "Okay." Then he leaves for like 2 hours. And then he comes back, and apparently he had bought an entire popcorn stand, like from the street vendors. And he just brought it back into the office, and everyone got popcorn.
Bill Murray is one of those people I want to meet because he is such a fascinating individual.
He really is. But anyways, yeah. So my point is, optimism is nice to see, and I wish we could see more of it. Yeah. This is not the time for pure undiluted optimism, unfortunately. But I have to believe we can get there eventually.
Yeah. Because not gonna lie, after nearly having my little breakdown with the relic, it's like it's nice to feel happy.
I know. What a rare feeling. But yeah, like, I love the shit out of this movie. I love its sincerity. I love the optimism. I think it's funny as hell. Yeah, I can't think of like, even if I want to be super nitpicky, I can. But it's not a movie I want to be nitpicky with. I just want to enjoy it.
Fair enough. Yeah, that's what you describe this. Like, it's as I said, it's not an amazing movie. It may not even technically be a great movie, but it is such a fun one.
I disagree with that. I think this is a great movie. Like, I sincerely believe that. Like, as a product of film, I think this is a great movie. Like, it's not going to be Citizen Kane or like,
no, it's not
List or anything like that.
But
it does what it wants to do so perfectly and such in its own way that I can't think. By the definitions it sets, this is a perfect film. In my opinion.
Fair.
Yeah,
that's fair. Yeah, this is. Because I can't even remember most of the movies I watched this year. But this is definitely like one of, if not the most enjoyable one I've watched.
Yeah, like I
will totally admit that.
Yeah, like I said, it's not the deepest in the world. It's not the most complex. It doesn't have to be. It is exactly what it is, and it knows, and it has such a clear identity.
It's like, thank you for doing for me what Sonic the Hedgehog movie could not.
No, this
is the best way to put it.
This is a lot better than Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh yeah.
I'm looking back at the list for this year. It's like, man,
it was Sonic the Hedgehog.
Fine. Like, I didn't hate it. I didn't think it was great, but
yeah, it was a movie.
But yeah, like, I was looking back in the list of movies I saw this year and ones that I just enjoyed purely on its own merit. This is pretty high up there. Yeah, I
Yeah.
I don't want to taint this movie with negativity.
Yeah. Watch this movie. Have a good time. Have fun. Definitely watch
Believe
the
in a
first two.
future again, for the love of God.
Yeah. Definitely watch the first two because I feel like there are going to be a lot of jokes and things that are going to kind of like fly over your head without it.
And it definitely kind of helps like kind of carry over that sincerity into the third one too.
Yeah.
Because again, I watched the second one right before I watched this one, and I think that really helped.
Yeah.
Because again, the tone matches so perfectly with the other two. Like it does not miss a beat, and there's not also massive piles of foam to really distract even the first 10 minutes. Like the second
Oh
one.
God. The wedding singing.
Oh yeah.
Also, I was surprised at how many people actually did return. I think they pretty much like if there was a character in this, I mean, except for the wives who were also previously recast in the past movie.
Oh yeah.
But like they got Missy back, they got Ted's dad back.
Yep, they got Death back, didn't they?
Yep, that was the original actor.
That's what I thought. All right.
I'm assuming they probably have a different actor for the brother Deacon. By the way, that was also a hilarious opening.
Oh God, which one was Brother Deacon?
Ted's younger brother.
Okay, yeah, that's probably a different character. I'd be shocked if it was.
Because just yeah, because one of the there was a running gag with Missy throughout the series that I did not expect them to go the way they did, and that gave me a freaking good laugh. And just the new characters, the daughters are charming as hell too.
Yeah, and like I said, they do such. They have a very interesting task of mimicking their film fathers while also trying to carry their own voice, and they kind of make it effortless.
Yeah.
Like they pull it off with such grace and style. You kind of you just have to respect it. Like Samara Weaving in particular is like such a great star in the making. And I'm so glad that she's getting more roles and she's getting more of the spotlight. I'm looking up the kid who played Deacon to see if he was in the original one or not. He said apparently had a very long film career. Sadly, he is not the original.
I had a feeling.
Yeah. Oh well. You can't have everything. But you can have music.
Yeah. Well, I think that kind of wraps up the review then.
Yeah, I think so. New Mutants came out today.
Oh yeah, I read the statements from the co-creator, McLeod.
Was it about the Brazilian thing, or
amongst other things?
What else?
Some of it was more nitpicky, like how he was kind of sad that Wolfbane in her human form didn't have like the red spiky hair. Something about how like guy from Stranger Things, his character wasn't tall and lanky. He definitely had a lot of it. He definitely had issues with the whitewashing thing the most.
That's fair.
And then he said, and to top it all off, they didn't even spell my name right in the credits. It's like they had 3 years to correct this, to spot that.
Nope. Fuck you.
I was like, ooh, yeah, I can understand why you're pissed.
Yeah, I don't know how or if we're going to watch it. Like, we do have a drive-in theater nearby. I know is playing it. But I don't know if I want to, like, risk going anywhere with other people.
Especially with smoke.
Even if it's a drive-in.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Otherwise, we'll see what else comes out in streaming in the near future.
Yeah, let me see what's actually out. Because that was the one I wanted to see, Sputnik.
Oh yeah,
basically Russian version of Alien, and it's apparently really good.
And I know the personal history of David Copperfield just came out.
Oh yeah, I heard that was really good too.
I don't know if that's streaming or not though.
It is.
It is. Okay, cool. So we can watch that one then.
Yeah, because I think, at least I think it is. David Cop. Okay, maybe not. I thought it was, but was it Personal History of David Copperfield?
Yeah, personal history of David Copperfield. Huh?
History.
I'm googling it.
No, it's not.
Ah, god damn it.
I think. Vox, don't fail me now. I say this article. I'm indifferent to Vox.
It might be available for rent.
Was this done by the same guy who did The Death of Stalin?
If it is, it's a drastically different tone.
Yeah, that's what people are saying.
I know this is so exciting for you viewers at home watching us try to figure out if we can watch a movie or not.
But yeah, Sputnik I know is available for streaming, and I'm super excited for that one. Looked pretty badass, and I heard some great things about it.
Yeah, I'm not sure I've even heard of that one.
Check out the trailer for Sputnik. It looks pretty cool.
We can't rent the History of David Copperfield, but we can watch The Man Who Invented Christmas, which
Oh no!
for some reason is what came up when I searched for it.
Oh, what the hell?
I don't know why.
You cannot kill David Arquette. I'm intrigued.
I bet I can kill him. Anyway,
is this a documentary about how like his life went to crap and then he tried to get it back on track through wrestling? I am totally down for this.
Anyway, I think we're pretty much done with this video. So I think the one I can think on top of my head I know for a fact is streaming is The Life of Ivan, which is a Disney Plus movie. So that might want to check out. Otherwise, we'll see what else we got later on. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Go watch it if you haven't watched it already. We spoiled the whole thing, but still go watch it.
Yes.
All right. Bye.
Watch it. Bye.